Hello friends and welcome to Dino Roar Adventures. In a land of giant ferns and bubbling volcanoes lived four best friends, the Dino-mates. Rexy, a young T-Rex, was brave and kind, leading the group with his cheerful squeak and love for games. Terry, the sunset-winged pterodactyl, soared high as the lookout, always spotting new adventures. Spike, the gentle rainbow-plated stegosaurus, was the quiet thinker, solving problems with clever ideas. Dippy, the bubbly diplodocus, used her long neck to reach the juiciest leaves and give her friends rides. Together, they explored, played, and helped each other every day. In their prehistoric world, every day promised a new adventure. One sunny morning, the Dino-mates were having the time of their lives, darting between ferns and giggling as they played their favorite game of hide-and-seek. The forest was alive with the sounds of laughter, chirping insects, and the distant calls of other dinosaurs. Sunlight filtered through the tall trees, casting playful shadows on the mossy ground. It seemed like the perfect day for adventure, and none of the Dino-mates had any idea that something extraordinary was about to happen. Suddenly, Rexy, the most curious of the group, stopped in his tracks. His sharp eyes had caught a glimmer of something unusual, nestled in the soft green moss near a sparkling waterfall. As he crept closer, he realized it was a strange, pearly white egg, unlike any he had ever seen before. Its shell shimmered in the sunlight, making it look almost magical. Rexy called his friends over, and together they examined the mysterious egg. It was much too small to belong to a T-Rex, and none of the Dino-mates could remember seeing an egg like this in their forest. They compared it to their own eggs, but the size, color, and even the gentle warmth it gave off were all different. The egg seemed to be from a faraway place, or perhaps from a dinosaur family they had never met. The egg was warm to the touch, as if it had just been laid, but there was no nest around it. No footprints, no signs of a mother dinosaur, and no other eggs nearby. It was all alone, resting quietly on the mossy ground, surrounded by towering ferns and ancient trees. The Dino-mates looked around, puzzled and a little worried. How could such a precious egg be left all by itself? The friends gathered in a circle, their faces filled with concern. They knew that every egg needed warmth, protection, and a family to care for it. The thought of the little egg being lost and alone tugged at their hearts. They whispered to each other, wondering where the egg had come from and who it belonged to. It was clear to everyone that the egg needed their help. Rexy, always brave and kind, stepped forward with a determined look. "We can't leave it here," he declared, his voice steady and full of purpose. "We're Dino-mates. We help everyone, no matter how big or small." The others nodded in agreement, feeling a surge of responsibility and excitement. They knew that helping the egg was the right thing to do. The Dino-mates quickly began to make a plan. They discussed all the different types of dinosaurs that lived in the forest and beyond, trying to guess who the egg's family might be. Some pointed toward the mountains, others toward the river, and a few thought the egg might have rolled in from the distant plains. No matter where the journey would take them, they were determined to find the egg's family and return it safely. Their fun game of hide-and-seek had suddenly turned into a grand adventure. The Dino-mates felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as they realized they were about to embark on a quest unlike any they had ever experienced. They gathered their courage, knowing that together they could face any challenge that came their way. With gentle care, the Dino-mates formed a protective circle around the egg. They promised each other that no harm would come to it while it was in their care. Each friend took turns carrying the egg, making sure it stayed warm and safe. Their hearts were full of hope and determination as they set out on their journey, ready to face whatever mysteries the prehistoric world might hold. And so, with the mysterious egg cradled gently among them, the Dino-mates set off into the wild unknown. They didn't know what challenges awaited, but they were ready to face them together. Their journey to find the egg's family and maybe discover a few surprises along the way had just begun. The friends examined the egg, searching for clues. Spike noticed faint, swirling blue lines on the shell, like tiny river waves. "Maybe it belongs to a dinosaur who lives near water," Terry suggested. Inspired, they decided to search by the river. To keep the egg safe, they built a soft nest from leaves, moss, and petals. Working together, they gently placed the egg inside. With teamwork and a clue to follow, the Dino-mates set off toward the river. Their adventure was truly underway. The path ahead twisted and turned, leading the Dino-mates into the heart of the dark, spooky, whispering woods. The air was thick with mist, and every step seemed to echo with the secrets of ancient times. Shadows danced between the towering trees, and the ground was soft with layers of fallen leaves, muffling their footsteps as they ventured deeper. All around them, ancient trees swayed gently in the wind, their gnarled branches creaking and groaning as if sharing stories from a forgotten age. The leaves rustled above, creating a chorus of whispers that seemed to call out to the travelers below. Rexy, usually so bold, found himself walking a little slower, his eyes wide as he peered into the shifting shadows. Every snap of a twig made his heart race, but he tried to be brave for his friends, taking careful steps and glancing back to make sure everyone was close. Dippy noticed the nervous glances and huddled closer to the group, his gentle voice breaking the tension. "It's just the wind telling stories," he reassured everyone, his words floating through the gloom like a warm hug. The others smiled, comforted by Dippy's calmness, and pressed on together. Above them, Terry soared gracefully, his bright wings glowing in the dim light. He swooped low, casting shimmering patterns on the forest floor and lighting the way forward. With every beat of his wings, the darkness seemed to retreat, and the Dino-mates felt a little braver. Suddenly, the path narrowed, and a wall of thick, tangled vines blocked their way. The vines twisted together like a living barrier, their green tendrils reaching out as if to hold the friends back. The Dino-mates stopped, unsure of how to continue. Rexy and Spike stepped forward, determined to clear the way. They pushed and pulled at the stubborn vines, grunting with effort as they tried to force a gap. But the vines were strong and refused to budge, no matter how hard they tried. The friends grew frustrated, their energy fading as the vines held firm. For a moment, it seemed as if they might have to turn back, their journey stopped by the ancient forest's grip. But then, Spike had an idea. He swung his spiky tail with care, using it like a tool to snip and part the vines. With each careful swipe, the barrier loosened, and soon a narrow path began to appear. The others watched in awe as Spike's clever thinking saved the day. The friends erupted in cheers as the path opened before them. Their laughter echoed through the woods, blending with the whispers of the trees. They realized that together, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. With the way clear, the Dino-mates carefully carried the precious egg through the forest, each one lending a helping hand. They moved as a team, proud of their courage and the way they had worked together to solve the problem. As they finally emerged from the shadowy woods into the bright sunlight, a wave of relief and joy washed over them. The trees behind them seemed to sigh in farewell, and the open landscape ahead promised new adventures. With their spirits soaring and their friendship stronger than ever, the Dino-mates marched forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Nothing could stop them now. Next, they reached the wide, rushing, great gurgling river, its blue swirls matching the egg's pattern. The river was too deep to cross on foot. Spike spotted a hollow log, perfect for a dino boat. They placed the egg inside and climbed aboard, but the current was strong. Dippy stretched her long neck across the river, anchoring them and pulling the log safely to the other side. Terry cheered them on from above. Together, they crossed the river, one step closer to the egg's home. The final challenge loomed before them, the towering, craggy cliffs, rising sharply from the earth like the jagged teeth of some ancient beast. The cliffs were steep, daunting, and seemed almost impossible to climb, their rocky faces casting long shadows over the land below. The Dino-mates paused at the base, gazing up in awe and a little bit of fear, knowing that this was the last and greatest obstacle between them and their goal. As they studied the cliffs, Terry's sharp eyes caught a glimmer high above, a nest perched precariously on a narrow ledge, with a flash of blue nestled inside. Could it be the egg's family? The sight filled them with hope and determination, but also reminded them just how far they still had to go. Rexy and Spike tried to find a way up, but the cliffs were too sheer for their short legs and heavy bodies. They scrambled and slipped, sending pebbles tumbling down. Dippy, however, noticed something the others had missed, a winding path of ledges, just wide enough for a careful climber. "I think I can do it," Dippy said, her voice steady but excited. With slow, deliberate steps, she began to climb, stretching her long neck and back across the ledges. Inch by inch, she created a living bridge, her sturdy body connecting the lower rocks to the higher ones, making a path for her friends. Rexy and Spike carefully balanced the precious egg, carrying it gently up Dippy's back, while Terry soared above, calling out encouragement and pointing out safe footholds. The wind whipped around them, and the height made their hearts race, but they trusted each other completely. Step by step, the Dino-mates climbed higher, their muscles straining and their hearts pounding with excitement and a little bit of fear. Every ledge brought them closer to the top, and every slip was caught by a friend's steady hand or tail. The journey was tough, but their determination never wavered. Working together, they overcame every obstacle. When one stumbled, another was there to help. When the path seemed too narrow, they found a way to squeeze through. Their teamwork and friendship brought them higher than they had ever climbed before, and they realized that together, they could do anything. At last, after what felt like an eternity of climbing, they reached the summit. A beautiful ledge awaited them, bathed in golden sunlight and overlooking the vast prehistoric landscape below. The view was breathtaking, and for a moment they simply stood together, taking it all in. Suddenly, the egg wiggled in its basket, drawing their attention. It was moving more than ever before. They were so close to reuniting it with its family. Excitement bubbled up inside them, and they knew their adventure was almost at its end. The Dino-mates had made it to the very top of the craggy cliffs, their spirits soaring as high as the pterosaurs above. Together, they had conquered the impossible, and now, with the egg safe and their friendship stronger than ever, they were ready for whatever came next. High above the world, the friends heard a beautiful flute-like song drifting from a nest on the ledge. The song matched the swirling blue pattern on the egg. The egg wiggled, drawn to the music. With renewed energy, the Dino-mates reached the nest. There, a magnificent blue-feathered dinosaur, an Archaeopteryx, stood singing, hope in its eyes. The song stopped as it saw the friends and the precious egg. The moment of reunion was near. The Archaeopteryx, part dinosaur and part bird, rushed to the basket, joy lighting its face. "My egg!" it sang, relief and gratitude in its voice. The Dino-mates explained how they followed the clues and worked together. "You are kind and brave," the Archaeopteryx said, placing the egg safely in its nest beside another. The lost egg was finally home. The friends watched, proud of their journey. They had faced woods, rivers, and cliffs, but together they succeeded. Their mission was complete. It was the best feeling in the world. Just as the Dino-mates prepared to leave, the egg began to hatch. Crack! A tiny, fluffy blue baby emerged, chirping at its rescuers. The second egg hatched too, and soon 2 baby Archaeopteryx snuggled in the nest. "I'll name them Hope and Friend," their mother said, honoring the Dino-mates' kindness. The friends beamed with pride as the sun set. Their journey home was filled with laughter and joy. They knew that together they could face any adventure. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.